If you've overdrawn your account more than once for the same reason, that's not bad luck recurring. If you've bailed out the same friend twice despite knowing you couldn't really afford it, that's not generosity being punished by circumstance. If you've bought the same impulse item in 3 different colors, that's not just a harmless repeat of a small indulgence. If you've ended up with the exact same debt multiple times after promising yourself, never again, that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. A recurring, repeating, predictable pattern. And patterns don't change just because you feel bad about them again. They don't disappear just because you promise yourself you'll do better next time. They don't vanish because you've finally learned your lesson. That lesson has been learned before, and it didn't prevent the repeat. Most financial advice focuses on what to do differently. It tells you to spend less, save more, invest earlier, budget better. All of that is technically correct, and it's all useful advice in its own way. But it rarely asks the deeper question, why do you keep doing the same thing in the first place? What's driving the repetition? Often, the repeated financial mistake is solving a problem that has absolutely nothing to do with money. It's stress spending, the impulsive purchase that gives you a momentary hit of control when everything else feels uncertain. It's lending money you genuinely can't spare because saying no to someone you care about feels worse than being broke yourself. It's buying something the moment a paycheck lands because waiting feels unbearable, because you've been denying yourself so long that the deprivation has become its own kind of pressure. The fix isn't another budgeting trick. You've tried those. You have the spreadsheet somewhere. The fix isn't a new app or a stricter rule. The fix is naming, honestly, what the spending is actually doing for you emotionally in that exact moment. What feeling is it alleviating? What need is it temporarily satisfying? What void is it briefly filling? Once you can name it, I do this when I feel overlooked at work. I do this when I'm anxious about the month ahead. I do this when I'm lonely or bored. I do this when I've been telling myself no for too long. You can start building a different response to that exact feeling. You can develop an alternative behavior that addresses the emotion without requiring a financial transaction. Maybe it's calling a friend instead of online shopping. Maybe it's going for a walk instead of heading to the mall. Maybe it's journaling about the anxiety instead of spending money to temporarily distract yourself. Maybe it's giving yourself permission to spend a small, predetermined amount instead of pretending you'll spend nothing at all. The mistake stops repeating once you stop treating it as purely a money problem and start treating it as the pattern it actually is. A pattern has a trigger, a behavior, and a payoff. Change any one of those elements, and the pattern changes. Identify the trigger, replace the behavior, find a different payoff. That's how you break the cycle. That's how you stop making the same mistake for the 4th, 5th, or 10th time. This week, pick one money mistake you keep repeating. Just one. Spend some time honestly thinking about why you do it. What does it give you? What would you lose if you stopped? What could you do instead that would address the same need? Then try that alternative once. Just once. That's how new patterns begin.